While skiing, I got plowed into by a squealing rookie and ended up catching her in my arms. Later, she became my girlfriend. I always thought it was Cupid doing me a favor until I accidentally found a skiing championship certificate in her drawer. I'd just come off an advanced run and hadn't even struck my stylish finish pose when a scream split the air and someone barreled straight at me in a whoosh of wind. A panicked newbie girl was tearing downhill, waving for everyone to move. Even her poles went flying. Before I could react, she slammed into me and we tumbled twice in the snow. The ruckus had the whole resort staring. Mortified, I scrambled up and brushed myself off. Seeing her sitting up to stand, I bent to offer a hand. She yanked off her goggles. When she saw my hand in front of her, she hesitated, her gaze tracing along my arm before she suddenly tilted her face up at me. Maybe from the workout, maybe nerves or breathing was a little fast. Her eyes were dewy, skittish as a fawn, looking at me all shy. Her skin was so porcelain fair it made the snow look second-rate. She sniffled with a red nose and apologized. Sorry, did I hurt you? Nervous as she sounded, her voice was still so sweet. It was like getting blindsided by her looks. My brain froze for 2 seconds. Her words snapped me back. I opened my mouth and stammered, I'm fine. Are you okay? She took my hand to stand, faced me, dropped her eyes with a bashful smile, then looked up at me, soft as a spring breeze. In that moment, my heart just stopped, like I'd taken an arrow to the chest. She touched her head. I think I'm a little dizzy. The last word hadn't even landed before she collapsed right into my arms. Perfect. Did I just snap her spine or neck or something? I paced the hospital corridor, watching her family talk to the doctor, panic chewing me up. She did run into me, but I worked part-time at the resort, so I couldn't exactly wash my hands of it. I only breathed again when I heard the doctor say she was fine. Her mom turned, spotted me, and looked me over. And you are? I apologized. Hello, ma'am. I'm Dawson, an environmental science student at Northern University. About what happened on the slopes today, she suddenly went, oh, giving me a meaningful look. You're Professor Tony's grad student? I blinked. How did you know? She nodded knowingly, patted my arm, and said, Dawson, thank goodness for you. Jennifer's lucky to have you around. We all appreciate you. Such a fine young man, handsome too. Don't worry, I fully approve. I was baffled. Ma'am, what are you talking about? Not a single word was making sense. She laughed. All right, don't overthink it. Stay here with Jennifer. I looked back at Jennifer on the bed, still out, lashes long and thick like a doll's. At our school, she'd be flat out a campus goddess. I didn't exactly want to leave, but what did it even mean for me to sit here keeping her company? And something felt off. Ma'am, I need to get back to the resort or I'll miss the last bus. Live at the resort? Conditions there are awful. We've got a place nearby sitting empty. Why don't you move in? Here's the code. I was stunned. That's really not necessary. And commuting wouldn't be convenient either. True. Then we'll set you up with a car. Dawson, can you drive? I can. But... She pulled out a key fob and pressed it into my hand. I looked down, Portia? Good grief. Turns out the girl who ran into me wasn't just a goddess. She was a walking ATM. I swallowed hard. Ma'am, there must be some misunderstanding, she said. What misunderstanding? You're her boyfriend. Of course she wants to wake up and see you. Boyfriend? I jumped. No, I'm not her boyfriend. She got anxious at once. You can't just break up at the drop of a hat. Be good. You two absolutely no breaking up, you hear? I was about to explain when a soft sound came from the bed and Jennifer slowly opened her eyes. Her mom hurried over, asked a few questions. She seemed to clear. Her gaze swept the room and finally landed on me. She paused, puzzled. Seeing her expression, her mom said, Your boyfriend, don't you remember? She looked utterly confused. My... boyfriend? Yes, your grandpa said Professor Tony's student Dawson is your boyfriend. She froze, and her face flared red. Grandpa's a dean! For heaven's sake, why is he nosing into my gossip? He saw you with Dawson and asked me himself. Her brows arched. Her eyes flicked around like something clicked, and then they lit up. I figured she was about to clear up the misunderstanding. Instead, she dropped her head and bit her lip. I don't remember. I think I might have a little amnesia. Her mom stared. Wasn't it low blood sugar? How'd amnesia enter the chat? Jennifer hesitated. Maybe I bumped my head a bit. It's fine, I should remember soon. She snuck a look at me. Didn't realize I've got such good taste. The shy, love-struck look had me glued to the spot. Have the doctor check you again later. I've got work at the company, so I have to run. Kristen's mom will stay and look after you. Dawson, please keep Jennifer company. The house and the car, use them as you like. We're all family. Don't be shy. She didn't give me a chance to explain, handed Jennifer off to me and left. I awkwardly watched her go, then turned to find Jennifer staring at me. When I looked back, she quickly averted her eyes, the smile at the corner of her lips refusing to be hidden. My heart was barely contained. Sitting by her bed, even my breathing was uneven, and I had no idea what to say. She spoke first. Are you really my boyfriend? She watched me carefully, eyes nervous but hopeful. In that instant, I believed it falling for someone happens in a heartbeat. It was the perfect chance to set things straight. Yet before I knew it, I'd already nodded. She lit up, her smile dazzling. She picked up her phone. By the way, which one is your WeChat? I can't find you. My stomach lurched. I improvised. You got mad at me and deleted me. She looked up at me, and my nerves spiked. Then she coaxed. I'm sorry. I was being childish. I've got such an amazing boyfriend and didn't appreciate him. Can we add each other back? My heart melted. In my head, I was cursing myself for being a terrible person. That night, I stood staring at the unbeatable Riverview penthouse and the flashy little sports car. I couldn't wrap my head around it. How had I gone from nothing to luxury cars and luxury condos overnight? After looking after Jennifer until she was discharged, I went back to work at the ski resort. Ever since college, I hadn't taken a dime from home. My parents passed early. My grandpa raised me through sheer grit. Our family was so strapped that my grandpa had to beg door to door across the whole village to scrape together my freshman tuition. I studied like crazy and worked part-time jobs, making up tuition and living expenses with scholarships and side gigs. I needed money badly, but the ski resort was the exception. I wasn't an instructor, and the pay for part-timers was pitiful, but I stayed because I could ski for free. It was the one joy in my otherwise dreary life. Hurtling down from the peak, the speed and the cold sharpened me and enthralled me. For a brief moment, I could escape the heavy weight of reality. Everything vanished: poverty, Grandpa's illness, my petty senior classmates, even my picky advisor. I was free, a snowflake dancing between heaven and earth. Snow sprayed, chill rising. Suddenly, Jennifer's flustered figure charging at me flashed in my head, and I couldn't help laughing. Sometimes love barges in, just like that, sudden and relentless. The huge gap between our families made me feel small in front of Jennifer. If I were rational, I should have cut it off before falling deeper. Call it quits after she was discharged. I had no business stringing her along, and even less pretending. Otherwise, I'd only end up hurting her and myself. At the base, I sighed, unstrapped my board, and was about to pass the front desk when the manager called me. Luke Dawson! Quick, your student's waiting on the beginner slope. I blinked. What student? Now you've got one. Someone just bought dozens of lessons and asked for you by name. Don't worry, you'll get top-tier commission. Now go. He shooed me back outside. I stepped out, puzzled, scanned the slope, and froze. There she was in full ski gear, standing on her board, winking at me. Jennifer. The noise of the resort blurred away, and all I felt was her bright, lively energy rushing at me. Luke! She waved. You're amazing on the slopes, teach me, will you? I chuckled as I walked over. After what happened, you still want to learn? My head's fine. It was just low blood sugar. This time I came prepared. She pulled out 2 chocolate bars and wiggled them playfully in front of me. Her cuteness made me laugh. She was sharp too. After a few runs with me steadying her, she'd already picked up the basics. I shadowed her from behind, guarding her, watching her dart through the white mist, nimble as a fairy, hiding her wings. She was older than me by a few years, yet playful as a child. When tired, she'd whine and cling, calling me her private nickname. Teacher Luke, have mercy. Every man we passed turned their head for her, but her eyes never left me. The jealous stares from every instructor in the resort nearly cut me to pieces. During a break, I told her, I'll have the shop manager refund your fees. If I'm teaching you, no charge. No! She looked at me firmly. This is your job. Just because you're my boyfriend doesn't mean I get to exploit your work. I just smiled and shook my head. She, however, grew serious. Luke, I'm not joking, and it's not pity. To me, you're the most capable person, the one who least needs pity. She gave the faintest sigh. Someone as talented as you shouldn't be stuck in life's muck. I want to see you cut loose and claim your own sky. I know you'll become someone extraordinary. Her words struck deep, a tremor running through me, my eyes heating. Without thinking, I squeezed her hand tight. The holiday flew by. Every day felt like I was walking on clouds. Even back at school, I was still half dazed. I knew this happiness was stolen, and I worried constantly what if Jennifer regained her memory, realized I'd been lying. She'd probably hate me. And what if one day her real boyfriend showed up? What then? The more insecure I felt, the deeper I sank. But before that bomb could drop, another one did. My scholarship. I was buried in research when my roommate burst in. Luke, check it out. The Delaney Group scholarship list is out. You're not on it. I shot to my feet. What? My application already cleared. How could I get cut at the last minute? The Delaney Group's CEO is Dean Delaney's son. The scholarship was created for our school. A key criterion is financial need. Both my poverty index and academic record qualified me without question. I pulled out my phone, opened the list, and there it was. A familiar name, Jason Smith. I got it instantly. Him, my senior, out to screw me over. Jason and I were both grad students under the dean's faculty. I'd tested in from another school. He was a local. We were both under Associate Professor Tony. When I first joined the lab, Tony assigned him to mentor me. At the start, he was great. Warm, helpful, shared tons of data. I was honestly grateful. But after one seminar, everything flipped. He turned cold overnight, started bad-mouthing me to the professor. He stole my data and methods, published first, and accused me of plagiarism. Tony believed him, convinced I was shady, and grew more and more critical of me. To make it worse, my own research hit snags. I had to halt and troubleshoot, sinking into months of anxiety and stagnation. Only later did I find out Jason had swapped my catalyst, sabotaging my experiments and leading me down the wrong path. Half a year wasted. Everyone in the lab knew I was broke. I survived on $700-800 a month, thought twice before buying a meat dish. He strutted around in $1,000 Jordans, dropping tens of thousands on gaming rigs without blinking. He wasn't short on cash, he just had it out for me. Watching me flounder made him happy, but what he stole was my tuition. Like a cornered animal, the string inside me finally snapped. I stormed out of the dorm, ready to demand justice. In front of the faculty building, Jason was already arguing with someone, face dark, looking even angrier than me. Then I saw who he was arguing with and froze in my tracks. Jennifer? What were they fighting about? Jason turned, spotted me, and all his fury found a target. Before I could even speak, his fist came swinging at me. My vision went black, and I heard Jennifer gasp. Jason, are you crazy? Stay out of this! He grabbed my collar. I'm warning you, stop pestering, Jennifer. Stay away from my girlfriend. Every question I wanted to ask jammed in my chest until I could hardly breathe. I never expected it was him. The guy I'd been pretending to be was actually him. My blood surged, chest heaving. Jennifer tried to reach me, but he shoved her aside. He leaned in close, whispering only for me. That's right. I reported you for plagiarism. I knocked you out of the scholarship. The papers, the experiments, they were all me. I want to crush you. What are you going to do about it? You're no match for me. Don't even dream of taking Jennifer. With that, he shoved me to the ground, then went back to grab Jennifer. She tried to pull away, but Jason yanked hard, half dragging her off. Dazed and broken, I sat there for a long while before remembering why I'd come. Forcing myself up, I went to find my advisor. The scholarship decision was Tony's. When he saw me walk in, his face went sour. I barely started before he cut me off with cold disdain. It's just a scholarship. Is this money worth throwing a fit over? You act like some reincarnated beggar. The words slapped me across the face. I squared my shoulders. If it's so little, why stoop to stealing it? That's lower than a beggar. Tony looked up, eyes frosty. Luke, don't make trouble. I'm not the one making trouble. It's Jason. Why did he take my slot? Tony snorted like he'd heard a joke. Your slut? Are you delusional? His girlfriend is the chairman's daughter. The scholarship comes from their group, and you're still arguing? The stab in my chest twisted. So the decision isn't about poverty or merit, it's about connections, right? Tony sneered. Poverty? Fine. Let me show you. He tossed photos in front of me. They showed me going in and out of Jennifer's mansion, and behind the wheel of that Porsche. I froze, then realized Jason had hired someone to tail and photograph me just to prove I was living large. Disgusting. What does this prove? None of that is mine. My family's on welfare. I'm an orphan. Grandpa's sick, no income. If that's not poverty, then what is? Tony smirked. Poverty claims? Please, every family has old folks. Not all of them are sick. I couldn't believe a teacher could say that. Don't look at me like that. I don't have time for this. He waved me out, then added, if you were clean, why would he single you out? Don't act so wronged. I left crushed, limp as wilted cabbage, and lay in the dorm for a week. Love gone, tuition gone, experiments and papers ruined, senior and advisor both against me. My life had plunged into darkness. I even tried messaging Jennifer. After hours of rewriting, I finally sent a sorry, only to get a red exclamation mark back. She'd deleted me. I drowned myself in booze, day and night. Half conscious, I realized I really had nothing left. Like sinking in quicksand, the harder I struggled, the faster I choked. Better to just lie flat, drift through the days. I don't know how long I floated between dream and stupor until one day a phone rang, yanking me awake. I hadn't touched my phone for days, ignoring all calls and notices. Worst case, they could expel me. But that day, the ringing wouldn't stop. I rolled over, glanced at the caller ID, and sobered halfway Grandpa. For years, it was always me calling him. He never reached out first, afraid of disturbing my studies. Seeing his call jolted me had something happened. I picked up after a few words. My heart finally eased. Grandpa said a new scrap station had opened nearby, paying high prices for what he collected. From now on, he could always sell to them. His voice was brimming with excitement, like a kid again at over 80 years old. I made so much money, more than all of last month! Hundreds! Boy, I'll send you some. You need meat while you're growing. My nose stung. I quickly said, no, Grandpa, I've got money. I'm eating well, living well. Good, 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 he said 3 times, then fell silent for a moment. Suddenly he added, boy, you're amazing. Don't look down on yourself. Our family has it rough, but you made it out. You're better than all of them. Tears spilled before I could stop them. Choking, I answered back. After hanging up, I was sober. I cried hard, but afterward, I felt life stir back in me. I wasn't empty. I still had Grandpa. I was his pride, his hope. For him, I had to stand tall. I couldn't let this crush me, otherwise I'd be nothing but a coward. I dragged myself out of bed, washed my face, and headed straight to the lab. I started fresh experiments, papers, research, all over again. I filled my days to the brim, throwing myself into the work until there was no time for worry. Sometimes I lost track of time until night fell. Sometimes I crashed right there in the lab. One time, half asleep on the bench, I felt movement nearby. Forcing my eyes open, I saw the dean flipping through my files, so focused he hadn't noticed I was awake. I scrambled up. Dean. Oh, you're up. He looked up. I was about to head home. Saw the light still on here. Came in and found you asleep. Embarrassed, I said. I meant to rest a bit and keep going, but I dozed off. He pointed at the computer. All this is yours? I nodded. Your ideas are solid, and the direction's right. The paper's rigorous, too. Being praised by the dean out of nowhere left me speechless. Luke, you're one of my grad students, right? He asked suddenly. I nodded again. Then from now on, report to me directly. You don't need to stay under Associate Professor Tony. I'll supervise you myself. He said it casually, but to me it was like hearing the impossible. The dean hadn't personally advised students in years. Seeing me stunned, he asked, any problem with that? I hurriedly replied, no, none at all. Good. He nodded, then looked at me. Head home early. Research is important, but don't neglect your health. Don't let the people who care about you worry. After he left, I was still in shock. wondering if I'd dreamed it. The dean himself is my advisor? He's a giant in the field. Working under him meant top-tier resources. Most of all, it meant I'd never again have to face Tony and Jason's disgusting faces. With no more anxiety or inner conflict, my efficiency skyrocketed. Whenever I ran into a problem, I went to the dean. He always gave me clear direction and solid advice. He even approved a grant for my experiments. I poured myself into the research. After rounds of revisions, corrections, and data calibration, polishing it carefully, my paper was finally complete.
When the dean read it, he nodded.
Submit to science. You'll be first author. My jaw nearly hit the floor. I thought I'd misheard. Me, a second-year grad student, submitting to a top journal? I'd never dared dream it. I figured I'd aim for something modest and call it an achievement. The dean frowned. This work is strong. If not a core journal, what then Reader's Digest? You're young. Why be so timid? This is the age to dream big and take risks. Hearing that, I couldn't help but feel fired up. I was about to leave when he stopped me again. Oh, and tonight, come to dinner with me. About your research, I filed a patent for it. A company's interested and offered $180,000. You'll join me to discuss it. I nearly knelt right there. He wasn't just a mentor, he was a lifesaver. The patent went smoothly, and though the paper faced rounds of revision, after fulfilling all requirements, I finally received the reply. Science accepted my article! Seeing accepted on the status page was like a dream. I never thought I'd actually make it. On the day the paper was published, the patent money also hit my account. Walking out of the dean's office, I felt my whole body blaze with energy. A gentle breeze cooled my restlessness, stirring blossoms overhead, a few petals drifting into view. Only then did I realize spring had quietly arrived, buds greening, chill air fading, the world bursting into life. A season of hope, just like my life. I opened Jennifer's profile on my phone, staring at it for a long time. I wanted so badly to share my joy with her. She'd once told me I could do it, and now I had. But she was no longer by my side. That evening, I treated a few close roommates to dinner. We'd barely stepped inside when we saw someone making a drunken scene. I wanted to switch restaurants, but my roommate recognized him. Isn't that Jason? I froze, turned, and sure enough, Jason spotted me. He suddenly lunged like a madman, seizing my collar. Luke, it's you! You did this! I've lost everything! Are you happy now? I shoved him off and stared coldly. I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever happened to you, you brought it on yourself. It was you! You and Jennifer set me up! I'll never let you off! I had no idea what he was rambling about. My roommates hauled him back and dragged me out. Panting, one said. I heard the school's investigating the scholarship. Judging by Jason's meltdown, he's in deep. Another added, and I think he got dumped too. Tisk, tough break for senior Jason. It felt like lightning struck me. I froze, then grabbed my roommate. His girlfriend dumped him? He nodded. Seems tied to the scholarship mess, but I don't know the details. I couldn't settle all night, wandering the dorm like a ghost with my phone clutched tight. More than once, my finger hovered over the friend request button, but I couldn't hit send. The next morning, the dean suddenly called me to his office. My gut said something was off. Sure enough, inside were the secretary, Tony, Jason, and Jennifer. I never imagined seeing her like this. My nerves spiked, hands awkward as I tried to greet them. Maybe it was just me, but I felt like her eyes lingered on me too. The secretary spoke first. Luke, we brought you here regarding the Delaney Group scholarship. After investigation, there was indeed misconduct. Thanks to Director Jennifer of Delaney Group for actively collecting evidence, the truth is clear. Jason's award is revoked, the scholarship reclaimed, and after reevaluation, it will be fairly reassigned. Then he patted me warmly. Luke, since this involved our department, I'd like to settle it here quietly. No need to make it public, our reputation matters. As a leader, of course he wanted to sweep things under the rug. It was already rare enough they handled it fairly. I shouldn't ask for more. But thinking of the months of gaslighting, plagiarism, and slander from Jason and Tony, brushing it aside left me choking with anger. As I lowered my head, Jennifer suddenly spoke. Luke's the real victim here. I think we should hear what he wants. The room fell silent. Jason glared, eyes bloodshot. Jennifer? Siding with him? You'll ruin me! He still reeked of booze, no doubt, from last night. The secretary stayed quiet, but the dean nodded. Luke, tell us what you think. I glanced at him, then at Jennifer. Her gaze was steady, warm, full of encouragement, and I felt my heart settle. I said, word by word, Jason slandered, plagiarized, and falsely accused me. I want a public apology and a formal reprimand from the school. As for Tony, he suppressed and stole from students, took favors, and disgraced his title. He's unfit to be an advisor. The secretary winced. That won't be easy. Then he snapped at them. Well, apologize to Luke now. Tony forced a smile, unwilling. Luke, I may have been strict, but I never discriminated or suppressed you. Maybe there were misunderstandings. The scholarship issue was partly my fault. I didn't check thoroughly. I'm sorry you were wronged. I didn't reply, just turned my eyes on Jason. Under everyone's gaze, he ground his teeth and muttered, sorry. I shouldn't have reported you. I let out a bitter laugh, face like ice. An apology without sincerity isn't worth a thing. Since you're not truly remorseful, I'll take this public. Let millions of people judge for themselves. The secretary's face went pale. He quickly backpedaled. Now, no need to get worked up. We can talk this out. Everything's negotiable. Why rush to post it online? We can settle this within the department. If it spread online, it wouldn't stay behind closed doors. If it blew up, the municipal inspection team would come knocking. The secretary steeled himself, showing he was ready to abandon them. Tony panicked, his arrogance gone, clutching at me with tears in his eyes. Luke, it's my fault. I'm sorry. My whole family depends on me. Please don't hold it against me. Let me go. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He bowed his head, muttering, sorry, over and over. Jason, too, was shaken, realizing how serious it was. His swagger vanished. Brother, it was my fault. Remember how I once helped you. Please forgive me just this once. I stayed unmoved, fixing my eyes on the secretary, waiting for judgment. Seeing neither the dean nor Jennifer speak for them, he gritted his teeth. Jason will be given a demerit and publicly reprimanded by the entire school. All academic and conduct awards revoked. His exemption from doctoral exams is canceled. One more violation and he'll be expelled. Tony is suspended, and his bribery will be handed to the police. The two of them went slack, as if their souls ripped out, collapsing to the floor. Soon they were wailing and begging me. I refused to tangle with them any longer, excused myself, and walked out. Standing in the spring breeze outside, I let out a long, heavy breath. Months of filth choking me finally cleared. My whole body felt light. Jennifer walked out of the office building too. I thanked her. She looked at me with a faint, teasing smile. If I told you I only did this because I'm the group's funding director and had to follow up, not because of you, would you believe it? I froze, at a loss. She pursed her lips. Idiot. Then you and Jason? I hesitated before asking. He's not my boyfriend. I never liked him. My taste isn't that bad. The one I like is the most brilliant and the biggest fool. She shot me a glare and walked ahead. I stood there dazed, watching her back, the image overlapping with that moment I'd guarded her on the slopes. Suddenly, I remembered my gear was still at Jennifer's house. So much had happened that I'd forgotten completely. I caught up to her to explain, and she drove me back to get it. Since losing touch with her, I hadn't been back to that house. The furnishings hadn't changed, but with Jennifer living there, it felt warmer. More alive. Kristen's mom cleaned your gear and put it in the storage room. Go get it yourself. She headed straight to the kitchen. You remember the layout? I nodded. I knew the rooms well enough from living there, though I'd never stepped into the storage room. It held fine wine, collectibles, valuables. Some boundaries had to be kept. My gear was neatly packed in a cabinet. As I pulled it out, my eyes lifted to a trophy under glass. Curious, I leaned closer. On the base was inscribed 2018 National Dual Ski Champion. Beside it lay a certificate, boldly bearing the name Jennifer. My mind buzzed. I was stunned. She wasn't a beginner. She was a champion skier. Then why had she asked me to teach her? And why did she look so clumsy the first time, even crashing into me? Holy crap, it hit me like lightning. I dropped the gear and bolted out. Jennifer was slicing fruit. She looked up at me, barreling out like I'd seen a ghost. Then she spotted the certificate in my hand. She understood instantly. We stared at each other. I lifted the certificate. You tricked me. You already knew how to ski. You even knocked me down on purpose. For some reason, the words came out sounding like a sulky complaint. Embarrassed, I cleared my throat. She set down the knife with a huff. Yeah, I did it on purpose. I asked Jason several times to set us up, but he never did. So I had to take matters into my own hands. Jason, what's he got to do with this? We met in a high school club, just acquaintances. Later, he got into my grandpa's grad program, so we kept in touch. Once he invited me to a seminar, said he'd be speaking. I didn't think much of it, but now I realize he probably wanted to impress me. But then, unexpectedly, someone else there caught my eye. She looked up at me. Me? I asked dumbly. She wrinkled her nose helplessly. After the seminar, I asked him about you. Found out you were in the same group. Asked him to introduce us. He agreed, but never followed through. So I had no choice but to make my own move. Suddenly, it all made sense. No wonder Jason turned on me after that seminar. He'd been furious. He finally had a chance with his crush, and his buddy stole the spotlight. No wonder he wanted me crushed. Later at a faculty meeting, he put on a show for my grandpa, made him think he was my boyfriend. I knew then he was after me, so I started avoiding him. Oh, so that day in the hospital, when I said I was Tony's student, Dawson, your mom thought I was the Jason your grandpa had mentioned. Looking back, every trap Jason set only benefited me. No wonder he nearly went insane when he found out Jennifer and I were really together. He thought I truly had amnesia, said you tricked me, that he was my boyfriend. But I knew he had skeletons in the scholarship mess, so I didn't expose him. I played along while secretly gathering evidence. I blinked, stunned. So you never lost your memory? She paused, then threw her head back with a sigh. God, you're dense, I laughed belatedly. Your mess is cleaned up now. Call your grandpa. Don't let him worry. Her reminder jolted me. I pulled out my phone, but after 2 taps, my hand froze. I looked up at her in shock. Wait, you've met my grandpa? A spark lit in my mind. I get it now. That scrap station you set that up. Grandpa said they paid way above market price. I was too heartbroken at the time to think twice. But how could that luck fall on him? You sent people to look after him, didn't you? She looked a little shy. That's all I could really do. Then that call Grandpa made to me? She smiled softly and nodded. I was right next to him. I told him you were going through some tough times, and if he encouraged you, it'd fire you up again. My heart felt wrapped in warmth, eyes instantly stinging. I couldn't help but pull her tight into my arms. How lucky I was to meet the best angel in the world. Was it you who convinced the dean too? I only told him you had real talent. He chose to take you on after reading your paper. And you proved us right with your actions. You're the first grad student in years here to publish in a top journal, you know. I blinked. You knew? I'd wanted so badly to share it with her. Of course I knew. I've been keeping a close eye. Otherwise, what if some girl snatched you away while I wasn't looking? I'd lose big time. I laughed through tears. No girl was ever going to hit on me. With my rough background, always working to make ends meet, no time for dates, dull personality, no one ever looked my way. Only she treated me like treasure. That all your questions? She pulled back, amused. One last one, I said. Her brows curved into a smile. Go on today. You get the whole truth. Back at the hospital, before you woke up, your mom mistook me for your boyfriend. She seemed so happy you were dating. Almost terrified we'd break up. She looked a little awkward, touching her neck, stammering. I wasn't scared she'd object or demand some proper match, so I lied. I told her I was gay, in love with my senior, and planning to go abroad to marry her. My jaw dropped into an O scene. What? My mom lost sleep and appetite over it. So when she later heard from Grandpa that I finally had a boyfriend, she was over the moon, thought I'd finally straightened out. She grinned. And when she saw you at the hospital handsome, promising she couldn't be happier, she flat out forbade us to break up, afraid if I got upset I'd run back to marry my senior. I burst out laughing, harder and harder, until I couldn't breathe. She was just too mischievous. She came over to cover my mouth, but I pulled her back into my arms. She had quietly done so much for me in my hardest days. My heart was mush. The resort's closing in a few days, she said. Want to go skiing? Sure. Let's race, I blurted. Then you'd better push hard to catch me. I hesitated. And if I give it everything and still can't? Her smile bloomed like spring. Then I'll wait for you.